Ashley Tisdale, so cool to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
You tweeted a link to the movie's trailer and you said, how I've missed you, Candace. What have you missed about Candace?
Oh my God, everything. I miss, her crazy personality. She's one of my favorite characters I've ever played just because you get to be so creative and there really isn't any limit. Dan and Swampy kind of let me do my thing. And yeah, she just got that crazy energy. And I get to really release some of my craziness.
Initially, she's really afraid of the aliens, but in
Yeah.
time, she comes to love them. And it got me thinking, is there something in your life where initially you're like, I'm going nowhere near this, I'm petrified. And then you look back and go, thank goodness I did that.
Yeah, I think that I would say, I lost my dog last year, and obviously was quick to find another dog. And I at first had a really kind of bad reaction just because, it was like, obviously it wasn't Maui. It wasn't Maui. It was a new dog, it was a new personality, and I had a little bit of a difficult time with it. But after obviously a couple days, I warmed up, and then now, we've had Ziggy for about a year now, and I love her so much. She's just like, I am so glad she's in my life, and actually, she will always remember like my moment. Like when I look at her, I'll be like, oh, you were there for me and my husband in those
Yeah.
moments. So it's
Yeah.
really, really sweet.
Well, pets are something we always love. Siblings, not so much. And Candace says about her brothers, I grew up with annoying little brothers who got away with everything. And just recently, you tweeted your sweet life little brothers a happy birthday, but I loved your message to them. It was something like, you're annoying, but you'll always be my little brothers. And is that something special about this industry that you start off as strangers? And then all of a sudden, your castmates can become some of the most important people in your life.
Yeah, all of the castmates I've worked with are my family. Like that's what I love about this business and why I've always loved it is that I love being able to go on set and create that family atmosphere. And it was pretty special. When I got married 6 years ago, we had each table was the cast of like of a show I did or a movie I did, and it was really cool to just have everybody there. And I love them. Like I love the twins, I love Vanessa and Monique, and it's just they always will hold something special for that time and that moment because obviously you move on to do other things, but it's nice to reconnect with people that you've worked with in the past. It's just I love that. That's what I love about this business.
And is it really cool that you do get to leave a legacy behind? Phineas and Ferb, there's a whole heap of kids, like generations keep rediscovering it. High School Musical, it was around in the noughties. And I know my 9-year-old daughter, when I told her I was talking to you, was like, oh my God, tell her I love her. I love Sharpay. I love all the stuff that she's done afterwards. Does that still freak you out? Because like at the time it was massive, but to think that all these years later, there's new generations of kids who are connecting with your work.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I think that, it kind of goes to show it's like even on social media, technically the people who were my audience, when we first premiered those movies and even Phineas and Ferb, are not maybe as active on social media as much anymore. They're having, their families or like they've kind of moved on. But like I have such a huge audience on social media because the generations just keep watching our stuff and it's just like new people and it's like the really active people on social media. So it's pretty cool. And it's like obviously we've all moved on to do other things and we'll always be asked those questions, but I've never taken for granted something I've been a part of and what's helped me in my life.
This film is a lot about finding your identity. There's a lot of talk of, what makes me special. And I often wonder if people who have grown up in the spotlight or in this industry, because you started off when you were really young before, The Sweet Life and High School Musical. What's it like trying to find your own identity when you feel like not only is the world watching, but they're judging?
I think I was really lucky because I had a very, even though I've been in the business since I was young, my parents made me go to, high school growing up, and I worked in clothing stores, had a normal job when I was 16, even though I was doing pilots. And I didn't really get successful till I was about 19. And I think that I was lucky because at that point in your life, you kind of know who you are and know what you want, because you're like out of school, you're like figuring yourself out. But I have always, I think, known who I am. And so I that is a lucky thing about it. Like I was not ready for obviously being in the spotlight in some ways, but I was able to handle it, where a lot of younger people like get successful at like 15, 16. I mean, the Sprouse twins were like, 10, so that's hard. That's hard to grow up in that. And so I think I've had a little bit of a different experience because that, I had a very, I think, normal childhood in some way.
And the great thing is that you haven't pigeonholed yourself either. You get to do the acting, but there's also music. There was great excitement last year when you dropped Symptom. Lemon, you dropped earlier this year. What's going on? Is there more music coming our way?
I don't know. Right now, obviously, music is always going to be a part of my life, and I have to be inspired to do it. Symptoms was just something that was like really my release of what I'd gone through with my mental health, with anxiety and depression. And so I never kind of, I never say no, but I co-wrote every song on that album. So I have to be inspired to do that. I've been writing in other ways with something I do have coming out soon on Monday. But as of music, I haven't jumped back into music yet.
Well, you have jumped back into films. Phineas and Ferb, Candace. Let me get this right. Candace Against the Universe will be out soon. So great to chat to you. Thank you so much, Ashley, for your time.